know, like I done performed, like I done I done had the adrenaline dump. You know what I mean? I'm trying to work back up.
Yeah. Like I said, like it's a real thing. You probably show up at the venue like 7:30 or something, right? Is this close enough? You probably show up at like 7:30.
Yeah. You can put it like this and just whatever you want, man. Whatever makes you comfortable.
You show up to the venue like fucking 7:30 for sound check, and or to me set up my merch table. That's what's gonna happen tomorrow. 7:30 sound check, and then literally unless the establishment sells food like Royal.
Yeah.
Food, so I'll be able to sneak a bite in and some shit here and now. But yeah, this establishment that I was saying about, it's called Timo's. It don't even exist anymore. But it was like our home. It was a place where we had the best shows and the worst shows. Yeah. We had the packed houses and like
10 people.
Nobody here, bro.
Yeah.
But that place was amazing, and but yeah, you pull up, you get there, and then like literally 6 hours have flashed for your eyes. You haven't really had nothing to eat or drink. If you did drink, it was alcohol. And if you've been drinking that whole time, then all of a sudden somebody passed you that at like 2 a.m, like fuck. We always went. Our move was which to this day is the Waffle House, which that's not uncommon. I think a lot of us
if you're from the South, bro, you hitting the awful waffle before it's done. Though.
My homie.
Like for me, whenever I got a show, you ever like, cause what the fuck was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. But like whenever I would like like when you would perform, like you would all your homies is there, they fucking getting tight, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you trying to just like get your shit done, get it right, you know what I'm saying? And then like before you know, you get off stage and everybody's fucked up and sloshed, and they're like, why aren't you having a good time? You know what I'm saying?
You gotta catch up and shit. Like, all right, let's go.
It's gonna be hard for me to fucking catch up.
And my homie Shreve loves it when people don't know that you can't order pancakes at the Waffle House. So when we're sitting there, because we're OGs, you don't order pancakes.
You can't.
Like ordering
this ain't IHOP, motherfucker.
Like, you can order it. They're not gonna give it to you. But he loves that shit. So people be like, he's like, you get pancakes, and instead of telling him like, bro, you can't get pancakes here, he's like, oh, you get pancakes? Great, that's fantastic. He like waits for the server to come over and just let them make an ass out of themselves.
Can I get some pancakes? No, this is a Waffle House.
No, but you can't fucking leave right now because it's the Waffle House. You're fucking idiot. Nah, I love it. Yeah.
Dog. So like when you go to perform, man, like. What's your vibe? Like, do you like to have a lot of people around before you perform? Cause I'm like
like a pre-show thing or
Yeah, like I know some people like to like have all their people around and fucking vibe before the show. I'm the opposite. Like I need my space. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know how to take it. They feel like I'm dissing them. Like when my homies show up or family or whatever, whoever, like people who like feel a connection to me, they like want to like, they almost want you to like show that connection to them before the show and like make them feel like, and it's not that I don't want to, like I love you. I want you to feel connected to what's about to happen. I want everyone to know that, like, I know you, because that's what they want. They want everyone in the building to know, like, this is my dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's about to go on and kill it, and I want everybody to know before he kills it that this is my people. You know what I'm saying? We fam. Yeah. But I know a lot of times I'm like, I need my space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get... That's what I was going to say earlier. What's your biggest... What are you worried about the most before a show? Because for me, it's always attendance. You know, like I know I'm prepared.
Turnout, yeah.
Yeah, you know, because that's what fucked me up. Because we went on another little thing, but you were saying like we performed this same place. There was fucking 800 people, 5 people, 120 people, 20 people. You know what I'm saying? And like you gave the same show. At least I'm thinking so, because if I know, you know, like that's how I am. Like I don't care.
Our motto is 5 or 5,000.
Yeah, whether it's fucking 5 or 5,000, you getting the same show. But when I'm in the back room or I'm fucking in the green room or I'm on the way to the show, the only thing I'm worried about, I know I'm prepared. I know my beats are good. I know my team is straight. I know everybody's ready. We done rehearsed. We done fucking. We got the merch. Everything is fucking. Everything that we could control is fine.
Ready to go.
The one thing we can't control is attendance.
People come out.
Is that like something that is that the same for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of times in my position, which with me having a clothing line, a lot of my focus and direction, because the clothing line is my breadwinner, and this is what pays my bills for the most part. A lot of my focus and intention has been on that, so I haven't been doing as many shows. But generally, before that, there was a lot of times where if I was throwing a show, I was the organizer. So therefore, the responsibility of the turnout was on you. Not only that, you were probably the main one that was putting in the most work and effort as far as making flyers and reels and any kind of promotion and marketing tool and technique. Therefore, if that's known, then if it's a shit turnout, people are going to look at you, and you just feel the weight of that. You know what I mean? Because like it or not, you could put on the best show in the world, but if 5 people were there, like you would almost rather like fuck up a couple times, but at least have a huge, like a successful show. When I say fuck up, I don't mean like bomb, but you know what I mean. Like basically,
the mics go
basically
out.
What?
Anything.
At the end of the day, a packed house is what's going to decide whether this show was awesome or lit or not. One. I know the way I build my sets, it is for party rock. My name is Mike Live. Live means I take the live show serious, and I'm high energy, right? So if there's 5 people, it's hard to, you know, I made the set for 3,000 people. Now I'm still going to bring it to you, but like when I split the room in half and it's like 8 people here and 8 people there, it's not the same when I split the room in half and there's 300 people and 300 people. You get the roar and shit like that. So, I mean, I think you'll agree with this. I mean, isn't it easier to rock a bigger crowd than small, intimate rooms?
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
So, but kind of, so... Yeah, I think attendance on our level, unfortunately, is always an issue. That's the reason why I got a lot of love and respect right now for Little Stranger. I feel like they've kind of hit the thing where, you know, look at the...
I did not expect to hear their name tonight, but shout out. We did their kitchen.
Check this out. They are going across the country selling out and or packing out... the equivalent of the music farms. You know the music farm. Yeah. I mean, these venues hold anywhere from 800 to 1,100 people, and they're going across the country in cities they are not from doing this kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, salute. That is really my goal. Like, regardless if I'm on TV or the radio, to be able to be on the biggest stages with the brightest lights, the most packed people, and quality sound. You know what I mean? I mean, that's really what... I would love to graduate to, instead of, you know, still nickeling and diming at hole in the wall shits. Which, listen, let's earn stripes. Let's keep it real. Like I'm not like, I would love to think that I'm above that, but I'm not. You know. Yeah. So you got to continue to grind and pay your dues and be who you are and learn and grow. Godspeed. You know what I mean. But shout out to them for reaching a level of, like, you know, I mean they're doing the best venues with the biggest stages and sounds and collaborations. I mean, they literally just a couple years ago when I moved here, you know, I was doing shows with them. Now I'm like, hey, will y'all wear this shirt? But so you got the attendance and you got the pressure of that. As far as what you were alluding to pre-show rituals, I ain't gonna lie. So I've been kind of doing the same material for a while that I don't really have to rehearse or overthink it. So therefore, I can mingle and do whatever because I've got this shit so far in my bag that I don't really have to worry about it. There's 2 things that will force me or put me in a position where I want to be by myself before the show. 2 things. One, if the show's bigger and more important, then I try to make sure that in between my sets, whenever I have my banter with the crowd, I premeditate that. It comes across as real time, but I'm going to be very professional about the way I say it. Because to me, the people that are elite are the best. I mean, some people got it and they don't have to really overthink it and they just handle microphone, crowd, right? Like a comedian or something. They just handle that shit really well. For me, I like to be very precise in what I'm saying, how I say it, how do I transition from topic to topic. You know what I mean? Because beats are dope, my performance is dope, I got rhymes, I can rock a crowd, but it's a lot of times, to me, what determines a good or bad show is like, how well did I have the one-on-one moments with the crowd in between particular songs. Because if that goes well, if I bring up somebody in the crowd and we have like a good moment or whatever, that is like really, that shows like how much of a true, I don't know, to me that's the telltale. Because somebody can have some decent tracks and whatever, and then all of a sudden the mic stops and you have to be with the crowd. I was like, all right, how comfortable and confident and authentic is this motherfucker?
Nah, you're right about that.
So for me, the bigger the show, the more I want to make sure that's tight. And whatever, if I want to make sure that's tight, then I need myself, and I put, I kind of just rehearse that moment in my head. And the other reason why I would need to myself is if I'm performing new material where I have brand new verses and or transitions where I'm going from song to song. And just because a lot of my technique is I do like 10-minute blocks of music where it's nonstop, but I keep you on your toes with interesting transitions. You know what I mean? So if I'm doing brand new material, then I need to be by myself to make sure that that's tight. And if the show's bigger and I want to make sure my banter is quality, then I'll be by myself. But honestly, the average show, if I do a 30-minute set like tomorrow and next, I got these 16s in the bag so hardcore for so long that I don't really overly sweat it. I could literally like not even think about it, then hop on the stage, press play, and I'm ready to go and I'll nail it.
Yeah.
So to answer the previous question,
right. I think that like me, I don't need to be alone because I need to like. To touch on what you're saying, like I got my shit in the bag, you know what I'm saying? And I like what you said about crowd work. I'm a little different in the sense of like, I do look at shit like comedians a lot. Mm-hmm. And I study comedians. Even preachers, mm-hmm. like people, public speakers, like people that speak. And I've had a numerous amounts of people like, why don't you public speak? Why don't you like... Because I do poetry, spoken word, I rap, I'm in a band. Like I go through the gamut of everything of like no beat, just me in the crowd. I've had numerous people where I show up to weddings and like I'm not the best man. I'm just there. Like I'm homies with the groom, but the best man comes like, yo, you do the speech. I'm like, you're the fucking best man. You know what I'm saying? They're like, nah, you got to do the speech. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool. I'll do whatever. I'll do it. You know what I mean? So I'm a little different in the sense of like, I might have a little like for instance tonight, like I didn't do this shit, but I had it in the bag because like I was going to start this podcast off on like, welcome to Mike and Mike in the morning. 2 mics don't make a right. Right. Welcome to fucking 2 mics don't make a right, but 2 rights make an airplane. Welcome to fucking you know what I'm saying? Like Mike Doug, Mike Live. Yeah. Mike Doug, Mike Live. You know what I'm saying? Like
my man like, said if we were two rights make an airplane.
Yeah. Hey, if we were in the source, we would have got 2 mics. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the shit. Like I had them ready, but but it didn't go that way, and I kept fucking rolling with it. So but that's how I look at like the stage life. Like a lot of times whenever we would like anytime I performed in a group, a lot of times the group be like, yo, you do that shit in between songs, like you know, I might not have the best voice. I might not. A lot of times when I'm in groups too, it's funny because like my boy City, like in Mason Jar Music with me, like one night we were talking about like my verses or everybody's role, I guess, you know, and I wasn't trying to be funny, but I was like, all I got is bars. And he started laughing because it sounded super fucking arrogant. Like I was like, all I got is bars. Like y'all motherfucker. But it wasn't that. It was like I don't have like a good voice. You know what I mean? Right. My voice ain't fucking hey baby like DJ 107. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. I don't have that like. I don't have that cadence. That. All I have is bars. That's all I have. I don't have nothing to mask like anything. Like if I'm rapping or speaking, I have to have that ad hominem, that double entendre, that I have to have something that makes you think, because if I don't, you're gonna be like, why am I listening to this fucking high pitched fucking pitchy, nasally sounding motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Sound like me right now,
no, but that's why I developed that the bars, the triple entendres, the fucking like I'm gonna make sure that when I'm done with this verse, or if I'm just talking to you, turn the fucking beat off. We're not rapping. Like I'm just gonna talk to you. You know what I mean? And that's how I developed it. And when we do shows, like and that's why I like to be alone. I don't want to say necessarily be alone, because I don't mind before a show being around people or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I can't interact with you the way you want me to interact with you. Like, I'm literally like taking everything in.
A lot of energy.
It's too much. Like
people,
when and maybe you're the same way. I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I have so much energy and I feel everyone's energy so much that before a show, when all that shit's going on and I'm taking it all in, like, I don't really have energy to exert. I'm like taking it all in. I literally am. Like I'm looking at you, and if you're giving me nervous, like if me and you are doing a show together and like we got a song together and like you're giving me nervous vibes, you're worried about attendance, and this guy's worried about our merch table, and like I'm an empath 100%, so like I'm taking that all in. Then we show up to the venue, you know what I'm saying, and like the bouncers are treating us like shit. Guess what?
Same guy, whatever.
The first song, I'm like, the sound guys tried to fucking hold us down, but we hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, how the fuck do you remember that? Nobody remembers that. But I took it all in because y'all were fucking out back smoking a blunt, drinking a beer, not worrying about shit. But I was like, nah, they treating us like shit, and I don't like, you know what I mean? So like.
So if you steer yourself away from that, you kind of miss that energy, and you get to dictate, you know, what vibes you're bringing forward
right
immediately.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot of times when I'm out there with the crowd, I know so many people that I'm having to like, hey, so I'm putting on this like very much good to see you kind of energy, and it's draining from my performance. Secondly, it's super loud in there, so everybody you talk to, you're screaming. I need the voice, bro, from whenever I'm about to go up here and rap my ass off.
Your voice similar to mine. If you yell, it's over.
There you go. So like trying to be in the crowd too much and entertain people and screaming over loud music before a show, I definitely gotta be missed with that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not 21 anymore, man. I'm not just the infinite energizer pack of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just going after it.
Well, you seem like a dude that too like takes his craft, but not even just his craft, like everything you do seriously, and that's how I am. A lot of people think I'm too serious, and I'm like, well, what the fuck are we doing if we're not like right. Like we can joke around, we can have a good time. Like I'm not that serious where we can't have a good time, but I'm like, fuck, if you break out a fucking kid's plate, like if I come to your not your anybody's crib and like you're like, oh, I gotta put together my daughter's swing set, motherfucker, we instructions on the table, we putting this shit together, dog. Like we ain't fucking like having no extra screw, like we doing this, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I am with like anything I do. I'm like, yo, if this is what I'm doing, like I'm doing it. Like I'm not.
I try to be. It sounds like what you're saying is you're a manifester. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people that I've met over the years where they talk a good talk and they are convincing, and then all of a sudden you kind of realize that they don't actually come through on their stuff. Now listen, I'm not batting 1,000 or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't perfect, but over the course of my life, generally my word is bond. I try my best to come through with what I say I'm going to do, and I'm known for keeping my. I mean, I had one job for 14 years. You can't. If you had the same job for 14 years, that means you are showing up to work consistently on time. You know what I mean? I mean, tonight, it was a 7. I was here at 7, or even earlier. You know what I mean?
Preach.
You know what I'm saying? So, even when I was in a band, in Raleigh, I was in a band, I was in a band for 7 or 8 years. I mean, it's that kind of shit where you can't do or grow in things if you don't know how to show up to an establishment on time. And even when you pull up to these establishments, man, a lot of times it's how you when I'm at the music farm or really anywhere else, I try to like shake all the bartenders' hands, the door guys, the bouncers, the sound men. I want them leaving thinking like, yo, Live did not only did he do a good job, but he's mad personable. It's easy to be along. I like his merch or whatever. Like, I'm gonna keep him in mind for when whoever comes to town and he's gonna open for him, that kind of thing. And you know, just establishing good vibes and relationships along the way has done so much for my career, whereas there could be another guy that's like extremely talented, but he carries himself in a shit way and he just kind of a little shady, and you're like, all right, yeah, the guy's really good, but I don't really like to be around him or his entourage. And when he comes here, he kind of stinks the place up and whatever, you know what I mean? So I've learned real quick that the combination that I love to have around me and what has got me places is some people are really cool, don't got the talent. Some people are very fucking talented, don't want to be around them, just shady vibes. But if you're cool and down to earth, which another thing, like shout out, really a lot of Charleston scene is really cool and talented in my opinion. And they taught me how to be cooler. I'm trying to be cooler thanks to the Charleston scene. But back to Little Stranger, I mean, I think a lot of their shit is like they make good quality music, they're talented, but they're such lovable, likable guys. And they're not the only people here. I mean, they're setting a good example for the whole scene. There's a lot of people, you know, I don't want to name names because really pretty much the entire scene that I know of is riddled with really talented people that are extremely down to earth. Because you can go city to city, you find some decent people, but some places are rough around the edges and not quite as friendly and open. You know what I mean? When me and Shreve and a bunch of the homies were doing some tours from BK all the way down to Florida, you know, generally the scene is cool, especially if you are cool and you got skills, then you get received differently. But not every scene is like Charleston. I feel like there's a lot of really down to earth artists here that are, like I said, not only are they making good quality music, but you know, they're just very good people. Just good people. I'm
kind of really glad you said that because you moved down here 5 years ago, you said? Mm-hmm. So what's crazy is I'm born and raised, been here my whole life, and I've had a lot of artists on here that are from here, and you're the first artist that said that, because I think it's more I believe what you're saying because I've been a part of, but you're a part of a different part of the Charleston scene. Mm-hmm. And that definitely, you're 100% correct. When you get into the vibes that you're in, where it's like Little Stranger, those type of vibes, and like those type of people and those type of, and like shout out Indie Gold, my boy Indie Gold, and like the people Arlen, shout out Arlen, like all these people that are in that vein are very down to earth. Mm-hmm. But coming up, being from Charleston and being a white rapper, like,
wasn't always like that.
It's still not like that. Like if you get into the
would you say North Charleston's a little different, maybe? That kind of scene?
Yeah, if you get into the, I guess, gangster rap version of Charleston, then it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
But can you say that for almost every scene though? Like
you can. If
you get into a certain sector of it, it'll get.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. Whenever you find that niche in any city that's really about we're two white dudes, so I don't know if I should be able to say culture, right. But whenever you get into the real roots of hip hop, and it's about like, or just music, it doesn't even have to be hip hop. When you get into the roots of music, and it's like you find those real people who only care about the music and the musicality and the message and the love of the art, because it's art, it's good. And that's what I learned. It took me 10 years. For 10 years in Charleston, I was just like, I'm a fucking rapper. I spit bars. I'm harder than everyone out here. And I was a piece of what was wrong with Charleston. Mm-hmm. I'll be a fucking first to admit that. Mm-hmm. Like all I wanted to do was be better than you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But once I graduated from that and got into like having a live band and having like a love for the art of it, and really like doing shows with people that love the art the same way I did, instead of were competing with me. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. Like I'm glad that you found that part of Charleston, because that is the real Charleston. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I ain't gonna front, man. I've got an ego too. This guy in my own way, and I've noticed it affects me and maybe the way I move or the way people move around me. Because there's times where I'm like, I'm 38 and I've accomplished these things. I would like to think that I'm better than these things when really I'm not. And at the end of the day, I think was it Buddha that said it's hard to lose in a competition when you're not competing, and it takes like the weight of the world off your shoulders when you realize that, like, I don't know, it's just I think you mentioned like love of the art, like, and once you start to get into diving into like music philosophy, all of a sudden things become much more broader and open-minded. The blood-seeking teeth kind of go back into gums, and you realize, man, like, you can appreciate different shit for what it is, and instead of the perspective of I'm way more talented than that or potent than that or why are they getting this look and whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, we're all good people out here trying our best and doing what we can and doing what we love, and I think it's way more healthy on your head, heart, mind, soul, spiritual, body, all that, when you kind of have the I mean, some people built different. They, battle rappers, they're built for blood, and
yeah.
they can do that, and it doesn't really wear and tear on them and shit like that. Like UFC fighters, some people are built different and have that kind of like motor. But I know for me, I'm much more of I love the scene and the people that are, like you said, love of the art type of people.
Yeah.
Because listen, we're in this culture. Remember we say culture?
Yeah.
We're definitely guests in the culture, right? So, I get by, and it was funny, earlier you was mentioning, like, all I got bars because you didn't really like the way your voice sounded or whatever. And the way that I looked at it coming up was I didn't like my voice either. And I said, listen, if I say dope enough shit, it'll outshine the fact that my voice is
absolutely
whack. So that was what got me through for a while. I was like, all right, I'm going to be dope enough. I'm going to say good enough shit to where they forget that my voice is whack or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that time, I wasn't in a live band, which I'm glad you mentioned live band, because before I was in a live band, a lot of my shit was monotone because I was inspired by like the Nas's and some of the Wu-Tang members where all the shit is very straightforward and monotone and low end. So I'm trying to mimic this with super country accent, right? Yeah. But I have a super country accent, and even though I'm saying some shit, it hasn't. But once I entered the band plays so loud that it teaches you how to actually project your voice.
Yep.
So then my style went from like monotone Nas to like, do you want more Black Thought, which is very much more like projection, and the style was more water versus like kind of pigeonholed in one particular range in a way, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, man, I just love talking about music in general and just the.
I was about to say, I knew this fucking podcast was gonna go straight music, and a lot of people listen to our shit, our pod, and I wish Cousin Sal, shout out Cousin Sal, he ain't here tonight, but I wish he was here because he loves talking this music shit too. That's all we talk, and we've even thought about just making this like a straight up music review type podcast, but I want everyone to feel included and feel like they know what we're talking about.
Well, the moment you do that, you pigeonhole yourself to always do, or in my opinion, like you pigeonhole yourself to where like, maybe I want to have a podcast where we just talk about religion, and now that's off brand all of a sudden. Whereas water is anything.
Thank you,
you pour it in the cup, it becomes the cup. You know,
what's the Bruce Lee shit? Like, be water.
Yeah, be like water.
Be like water, dog. Be like water. But I definitely want to touch on your clothing line as well, because I've always wanted. I design. Alright, so I'm a graphic designer, whatever. Like I design all my homeboys' graphics for. Whether it's their streaming shit or this or that, or my sister-in-law's mortgage company, like I make the logos, I design shirts, hats, like all that shit. Like I got fucking catalogs of designs that I want to bring to fruition, like you have. I haven't yet because I haven't found people that do shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I can get shit screen printed all day, like, but that's not what I want, you know what I'm saying? Like I want more, you know what I mean? Like I almost bought a fucking sewing machine the other day because I'm about to start. I've sewed a few things, but I've been wanting to like sew my all right, so I'll give you this. Every mason jar show I've ever done, I made my own clothes for it. All right, and
well, like
I've had
one-offs that you wore that night.
yeah,
Oh,
and I literally would like go to Goodwill and buy some pants and fucking cut them up, fucking sew shit onto them, fucking iron on patches, fucking make my own shirts, cut off the sleeves, like fucking whatever I wore at a Mason Jar show, I made. You know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't made it, I altered it. I altered it for me. So that's like been a huge passion of mine. So I will say that I do envy. I don't want to say envy because I mean I'm good.
right.
So, but I do respect the fact that you took your fucking the shit out your brain and put it and got it in stores. So what led you to do that? What was your inspiration? Just being like me, fucking sneakerhead, fucking fashion head, just like culture, like all that shit.
First things first, I want to give a shout out to Fresh Prince. He's
Fresh Prince. Shout out.
Yeah, Fresh Prince fits. This will be out after the fact, but we got a fashion show where I'm performing at a fashion show this Saturday at the Odyssey Bottle Shop, and he'll be there. Very good friend of mine. We've done a lot of collabs together. But he is such a brilliant, like, unique innovator, and just, I don't know, he's very inspiring. So I'm rocking a Livelihood Fresh, flip, so I kind of want to go ahead and get that out of the way. With that being said, dude, you know what's crazy? I never really had... So growing up in the 90s, I've always been a sneakerhead. And if you're a sneakerhead, then the outfit's probably... So you've always kind of been like somewhat fashion.
Shoes on the wall.
You see what I'm saying? So Fresh starts from the feet up.
Yep.
You got the kicks. And playing basketball, 90s shoes, outfits and fashion have always kind of been a thing, right? But I never set out, or it's never been like a dream or a goal of mine to have my own clothing line. That shit kind of fell in my lap. I already told you a little bit this downstairs, but we'll let the people know.
Hey, let the people
reiterate.
know, dog.
So one day I realized that, like, all right, like if you go and see your favorite artist, let's say you go see Nas. Nas has got merch. So, you go see any member of Wu-Tang, they got merch. So in other words, it was clear to me that if I want to be taking legit, like if I put myself in an audience member, I'm like, oh, Mike, this guy named Mike Live is performing around the way. We're going to go check him out and see what he is. It's the moment they walk in the door to a Mike Live show, what subliminal things are happening before you even see Mike Live or him hear any music from Mike Live to let you know that, all right, this guy's legit and he's got his shit together. And I was like, I need a legit merch table. So I took a G and I invested in like 5 shirts. So now I have 5 different things all on the table. I got a cute girl working it. I got a little tent. My homeboy made me like a table drop that has my information on it. So immediately, if you come to a Mike Live show, you're like, all right, this guy's got his shit together. He's organized. He's taking his shit serious. And that alone generally will set you apart from a lot of your colleagues in the city. Because not everybody has that. Yeah. So really, I just wanted merch for my rap shit. It wasn't a clothing line. You know what I'm saying? But then, this was an idea that I had burning in my head for like so many years prior. I used to manage a Journeys. This was fucking 10, 15 years ago. I managed a Journeys. At that time, they had these things called hoodie buddies. So the drawstrings and the hoodies were headphones.
Yep,
the wire ran through the joint, go in the pocket, and you listen to music to it. And I was like, you know what? I want to bring a hoodie to life. Call it Livelihood. My name is Mike. Livelihood, Mike Livelihood.
Mike Live.
And I'm gonna do an album about a hoodie, and I'm gonna play with panning back and forth in the headphones, and I'm gonna have the devil in one ear and the angel in the other. I'm gonna say in one ear and out the other, and it's gonna sound like it's going through this. So all this shit was brewing in my head, but I never really had the means to make it make sense. And then one day I recorded a joint, called it Livelihood. And I bought a hoodie for like $100 or some shit, and it was just a gray hoodie, but it had the headphones. But I bought MP3 players, uploaded just the album Livelihood to it.
Right.
So when you bought the hoodie, you're buying the album at the same time. So I wanted to bridge the gap between sound and touch. So a couple of mottos was like bringing texture to sound. I want you to feel like you're draped in audio. You know what I mean? So here I'm doing that, and that was just the album concept. And then the other stuff was just me making merch for my shit. Once again, we're not even thinking about a clothing line at this point. I'm not thinking designer. I'm not thinking stores. You know, none of that shit happened. So a little time goes by, and you know, I got the hoodie with the music in it, and I got the shit, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna start calling it Livelihood, right? Yeah. Even though it's still not necessarily a line per se. I'm just doing spin-offs of some of my favorite shit. And I was at the gym one day, and this guy was wearing fire shorts, and I was like, do I go up and tell this dude at the gym that I don't know that he has fire shorts? I was like, fuck it. I was like, hey man, you got some fire shorts like that, I'll let you get back to your workout. He said, what size you wear? I was like, what size? I was like, that's kind of a weird response. He was like, well, yeah, well, I own Cola Kicks. And I was like, bro, Cola Kicks is like my favorite store in the world. When I die and go to heaven, there's literally a room in my heaven that looks like this store with all the dope Yeezys, the Off-Whites, all the Jordans. And I was like, man, what's it take to get some clothes in there? I was wearing like one of my joints. And he was like, you know what? We're about to move to the Tanger Outlet Mall. Stay in touch. We'll make it happen. So sure enough, kept his word. That was like a year and a half ago. He also opened up a store in Long Island, New York. I'm currently in that store as well. Back in December, I quit my job. So I've been... You know, I quit the job that I was at for 14 years, and now I've been an entrepreneur for like 10 months. But it was all because I went to this guy. I didn't intend to it, but once he opened that door for me, then I was like, well, here we go. And then once I got into New York, I was like, I needed to up my quality of everything. So everything went from like, hey, how can I just make some shirts to sell at shows that are cheap, and like I don't invest a lot of money in, but I can charge whatever and make some money, strictly for music, to I need to find the thickest thread count, and I'm gonna do good embroidery and all the front, back, all this shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that was a novel, but that's kind of how the evolution of how the Livelihood clothing brand came about. I just got my LLC this year, and yeah, man, I make anything from thongs to hats, beanies, and socks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
well, it's dope that you're going about that route, man, because like. Well, to touch on a few things you said, I remember, because I'm a sneakerhead too, so I remember like I was wearing some Sauconys the other day, and dude was like, and not a lot of people wear Sauconys, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Raekwon.
Yeah. But a lot of people around here, especially, like, if you see them, it's like some old Mount Pleasant 50-year-old woman that's got the runners on, you know what I'm saying?
She's
and you're like,
white poodle.
Yeah, walking her white poodle, got the Sauconys, but, and they don't look like I had like the Saucony Blaze 2000s, some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, some, like, exclusives you would find. You ever seen the website Survival Miami?
Nope.
Alright, well, you need to check that shit out, because you should get your shit on there. Really? And it might be the same situation what you're talking about, where you holler at the dude in the gym and whatever, but I'll show it to you after the pod. But Survival Miami is like right up your alley. Like they like that sweater, like they would take that, put some fucking New Balances underneath it, and like have the whole fit. You know what I mean? Like they're very big on what the shit you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but dude was just like, yo, them shoes are fucking fire, you know. And I talked to him for a minute, give him a card, fucking introduce him on my pod. Like it's networking type shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's huge in what you're talking about. Is like, don't be scared to like to talk to people and reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like you and I have been at a couple shows together, whatever. But I was like, I gotta have this dude on my pod, because even though I don't know you, I see the way you move, and like that's how I move. You know what I mean? Like if I and I like the, even though like I'm like, yo, I've always wanted a clothing line, and you didn't always want a clothing line. You know what I'm saying? And I've met people that always wanted a podcast. I didn't always want a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just have a podcast because motherfuckers is like, yo, why don't you have a podcast? Like, you know so many dope motherfuckers. You are a dope motherfucker. Like, do it. Like, quit bullshit. Like, you got the studio. You got the vibe. You know so many dope people. And that's kind of why I started this pod, was for people like you. Obviously for myself, like I can't front and be like, I don't want people to like watch my pod, listen to my music, or fuck with me. You know what I mean? Like we're creators. Like that's the main thing we want, is people to fuck with us. Like whether it's making fucking music or making fucking art or or clothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we want. But at the end of the day, I would just tell people, like, don't be scared to fucking network with people. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't like, so far on this podcast, bro, I've had fucking people with clothing lines, rappers, DJs, fucking band members, fucking shout out Arlen. I know that's your homegirl. I've known Arlen for 5 or 6 years now. Like, shout out Arlen. Like, fucking Sound Bath, fucking Energy, Chakras. I've had fucking
I watched to be transparent, that's the only episode of your shit I've watched.
Hey, straight up.
With that being said, it was great.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot. Y'all did a great
man.
job.
Yeah.
The whole conversation, everything about it was like super smooth, well done.
Well, that's me. Like, that's why I had her on, honestly, because I move off energy, bro. Like, that's why I told shout out Benton, like, he hooked me and you up. Honestly, I mean, I've met you a couple times before that, but even though we haven't, like, really sat down like this, like, I fuck with your energy. I fuck with the way that you move. Like, you were talking about the way you think about shit. Like, with Mason Jar, they, you know, when I joined Mason Jar 6-7 years ago, we had merch, but it was simple, you know what I mean? And that's not no knock on whoever was doing it at that time, but I kind of like took it over a little bit and found this dope ass fucking artist, graphic designer dude, old head, and he's the one that like started putting, like, we did a show at the Music Farm. You mentioned the Music Farm. First time in the city, because I've been from the city. First time in the city that we bought out the Music Farm. Damn near sold it out. Like 30 tickets of selling it out. Like 670 fucking people.
That's crazy.
We brought the biggest bands. I had a shirt made that was like, I hit dude up. I was like, and this dude's like 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, we're doing this Music Farm show. I need a fucking shirt for this. Sends it back. Farm fresh. Fucking skeleton pouring out fucking milk out of like a 1600s fucking chalice into the thing. And it said, into the fucking pig slop. You know what I'm saying? On the back. A whole farm. It said farm fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, dope ass shit. But that's how I've always thought about things, and that's why, like, I fuck with your. Long story short, I fuck with your energy because I think a lot of people sell themselves short, way too much. You know what I'm saying? Like us with this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could easily like set a phone up and sit downstairs and fucking like be like, hey, it's me and Mike live, and just fucking do this. But I wanted to, like, my vision, like, if I'm fucking with something, I'm fucking with something. And that's why I'm saying, like,
with the mics, the thing, the light, all of it. Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no brag, it ain't no flex. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's just
do it right.
like, it's just like, yo, let's do it right. Let's be serious. Like, if you can't take yourself serious,
why would I?
Why the fuck would I take you serious?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think, like, a lot of times people, like, when you take yourself serious that way, and that's what I mean, like, when we gonna call it all the way back, because that's what I do, like I was telling you, like, before a show, like, if I see something, I'm gonna call it back. Like, if it's before a show, like, that's what I mean. It's like, it's not that I'm trying to, like, be a dick to you or whatever. It's just, I'm taking this shit serious, bro. Like, this is just another Friday for you. You know what I mean? Like, you my homie, but you showing up next Friday, whether I'm performing or not, you could be at the fucking Travis Tritt concert. You still buying them same drinks. You still sitting in that front row, and you still screaming for Travis Tritt. But for me, this is everything.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's like I have to like make it the best that I possibly can, whatever I do. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's why I started this podcast in reality. Like, I'd be remiss to say, like, I didn't start it because I want people to, like, fuck with me and listen to my music, like I said before. But I want people to like understand that there's dope motherfuckers like you that have their fucking clothing line, that do the DJing, that have their music out there and really fucking care. You know what I'm saying? Like, care about their craft. Like, how the fuck you think Nike got started? How the fuck you think Yeezy got his shoes everywhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, they started out like motherfuckers like us that just had this unquenchable fire burning that was just like, yo, I don't want this shit just to be like Shaq shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Well,
hey, early Shaq shoes was kind of dope though.
I know what you're talking about. I'm sure the Walmart shit making though, right? Mad bread off the shit.
Oh man!
But I want to take pride in it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
A Jordan, for instance, like that wheat 6 up there. That's a piece of art. I think that's what a lot of people don't do. It's like, and I guess that would be like the easiest way for me to explain it to people is like, whenever I do something, it's art to me. You know what I mean? Like, to you, it's a shoe. Yeah. To me, that's a piece of fucking art. Every hole on that shoe, somebody sat there and like designed that shoe. It was like, 6 holes ain't enough. Like, that, just one more hole is gonna be enough on the side of this fucking. You know, we should put a hole in this tongue. Oh, every other tongue stays underneath the fucking.
Let's raise it up.
The ankle line. Let's raise it up a half an inch. You know, or the first person was probably like, let's raise it up a quarter, and then they raised it up a quarter, and the dude that designed the shoe was like, it needs a half. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, that's how I look at like music. That's how I look at podcasting. That's how I look at anything in my life.
I will say this, man, and shout out to, you know, one of the reasons why I admire Fresh Prince so much is I feel like he's a genuine innovator. Oh yeah.
Miller Holla, because I drink it, I'm good. Thank and you, they pay me for it.
But if I had to keep it a buck with myself, I've had moments where I do feel like the true innovator, right? Where I'm more, I don't know, man. I really do want to push myself to be brave enough to step outside of norms, because far too often, even as a rapper, like a lot of times, you probably are going with a cadence that's comfortable with you, that you got from someone else, what subconsciously or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been molded by all these artists for a while. Now this is your approach. Like, I even want to try to break my own molds of shit. You know, as much as I love this thing, you know, Fresh Prince is the one that freaked this part, and I just changed a couple numbers of an already existing design that is dope. So it's like, what did I do? You know, I'm kind of like a producer where it's like, hey, somebody made brilliant music in the 70s. I'm just going to chop it and put drums on it. Not to downplay that, and that was innovative at one point in time. But like now, anybody come across a soul sample and put a break beat on it, like that's not quite as innovative anymore, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? And I'm not out here. My point is and mainly this is probably a challenge to myself, and it's a bar that I try to hold so high that a lot of times it's crippling. I end up going nowhere with it because it's easy to talk this talk. It's different to manifest being a genuine, true innovator. I don't think there's a lot of them, and it's one thing to be an innovator, but like, can you take it to the levels of like, you know, I think Tyler the Creator is a very unique individual and like kind of innovative in his own right. But with that being said, it's like, you know, some people strive to be innovators, and it ends up, it's like, all right, yeah, you're unique and original, but it's also maybe not working, you know what I mean? You know, so I don't know, man, like, because there's been verses that I wrote before that I don't think the average person will appreciate, but I really appreciate the verse from my perspective, because I know that I stepped outside a lot of my comfort zones. And
just tell my story, why don't you?
Oh, this is all your shit? Where,
exactly, 100%, dog.
So,
like,
so even to this day, right now,
nobody understands, but
yeah. So, but
ones
I mean,
that do.
But even outside of, so do you produce it all as well? You make your own beats?
Nah, my son makes some beats. I mean, I could, but this ain't
right.
Like, that's something I don't fuck with.
So, you know, before I don't know if I even told you this, before I was ever a rapper, or even thought I was going to do that, I was a death metal drummer. I had a drum kit, and I was in a high school talent show in a metal band like 2 years in a row. And then my cousin / best friend passed away we put both of our drum kits together to make like a giant Slipknot joint. And when he passed, it was kind of like I felt like I needed to fall back. But the new guy that would enter my life and be like my new best friend, he was huge into hip hop, and he like put me on Ghostface and basically introduced me to Wu-Tang, and it literally changed my life. I went from that, and like now we're here talking about rap shit with you. That happened when I was like 16, 17, 18. But I don't know, man. Like I said, my point is, I guess in my heart of hearts and my true wants and desires, I kind of wish that I had more time and energy and care and devotion towards, instead of doing spin-offs of shit like this, or even like using similar vocabulary or cadences whenever I rap, or even like the same type of beats and samples whenever I do shit. I mean, mind you, all this shit makes me happy, right? So it isn't like, even though I'm doing this kind of stuff, it's still quality and it fulfills me,
right?
But there's another part of me that's like, do something different. Do something weird. Do something left field and own it and go into it and be bold and brave. And it's a muscle or direction I don't think I flex enough in my life that I would love to. Like right now, I like all this. This is cool, but I kind of, the most like unique innovators look like weird motherfuckers. I mean, every member of Parliament Funk, fucking Pharrell, Andre 3000, like, you know, a fucking original innovator artist when you see one. Yeah. You know, I ain't necessarily oozing that at the moment.
I think like a lot of people look at me that way because I'm different. Like, I'm always different. No matter where the fuck we go, I stick out like a fucking a sore thumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dress different, I talk different, I walk different. Like, I'm from Charleston. I go everywhere, and people are like, "Where are you from?" Like, from Charleston.
Right.
They're like, "Nah, you from Atlanta? You from somewhere else?" You know what I'm saying? And like, but what I will say that we have in common is that I'm always down on myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to put that on you, but in the sense of like, I know that I'm capable of more, and it causes me to feel, I don't want to say depressed or this or that, but the feelings that you're expressing, I feel a lot of the times, because I feel like a lot of times I could be more unique, more trend-setting, more groundbreaking, but it's like I could do what they do so much better, so why wouldn't I just do what they do and do it better? You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel you in that sense. Is like, a lot of times I'm like, man, why the fuck why ain't I exploring these things? You know what I'm saying? But I think that's what's got you where you are, is that you're able to take something and be like, yeah, but it'd be a little better if you did it this way. It'd be a little better if you did it that way. And like, it's probably like the way our mind works in a lot of ways, because I'm constantly like, for instance, like, if me and the homies go to the studio, you know what I'm saying, and like we're making a song, and somebody's like, this is how I'm gonna do the hook. I'll be the one that's like, yeah, but if you know what I'm saying, like, if you said, instead of saying like, cool if you did, you said something about a cooler lid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, what's a cooler? Like, got this ice in my chest like a cooler lid. I'm like, that's how you should say it. Like, instead of just being like, it'd be cool if you did, I'd be like, nah, you should say, I got this ice on my chest like a cooler lid. Like, oh, that's dope how you flip that. Like, so I don't think it's a bad thing that, like, you see something that's dope and like, and reiterate it. But I do feel like you, a lot of times, I feel like a lot of times I'm not like doing enough. Like, and I think that's more of a testament to your determination. Is like, I wake up, I don't even want to say I wake up, I go to bed every night feeling like I didn't do enough that day. I don't know if you feel that way, but that's how I feel every fucking day. And I think that's why I get so much shit done in a day. Right. Because like, when I go to sleep, I'm like, yeah, I did this, I did that. I took my kids to school, I picked them up, I fucking edited a pod, I fucking dropped the fucking verse, I scheduled this shit with that dude. I fucking designed this new logo. I did this. Look, I've already went through fucking my hand 3 times, but I still laid down and been like, but I could have did this. I could have did that. I could have did this. I could have did that, and I didn't. So I'm a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? But most motherfuckers going to bed like, I woke up, I went to work, I came home. They did 3 things a day.
Fell asleep watching Netflix.
Right. I'm like, bro, I did 20 things a day, and it wasn't enough. So I guess what I'm trying, I know I went way the long way, but I guess what I'm saying, don't be so hard on yourself, bro.
Well, I tell you what I envy is like when you see people that have the machine or the industry behind them, and they have unlimited resources, and or somebody that has a shit ton of money or budget for them. And I'm not naming any names, but far too like I wish that I had if I had I don't know, like J. Cole and Kanye and Drake's type of like they could snap their fingers and essentially make anything happen, dude. I would, and I mean that from like a live performance setting, which nowadays I think a lot of people have upped the bar with their live performance, and they have to because the ticket prices are so outrageous. Yeah. You can't just come out with a microphone anymore. Now you have to have it be a bit more theatrical and whatever. But I've always, my name is live, dude. Like, I've always really been passionate about party rock and keeping generally the way I look at a room is I'm in a room full of strangers. What is my best approach to win over everybody in the room and a skeptic, whatever, tenfold? So I try to win that, and that gives me a very broad spectrum. My wingspan, I'm not just for hip hop heads. You can put me in front of 60-year-old white women and they'll still fuck with me. But the name of the game is for me is like some people perform. That doesn't mean they're entertaining, right? I'm live, bro. I'm trying my best to be entertaining, and I'm doing it the best I can considering all the other things I juggle in life and limited money, time, and resources. Whereas you look at these other people, once again, I said those big names, but like, some people have record labels that throw a lot of money at them, and they, and you still come out, you kind of do the trend or whatever the lower bar is. And like I said, even though I feel like I'm a lot of talk, but hopefully one of these days I talk myself into manifesting the best version of me, which I think is a bit more creative, unique, and hopefully innovative and different. And my vision is, just and it ain't even about being better than so and so. I just who you are and what you're capable of and what you can do and what you want to do. And I would love to be able to say that I really achieved that and accomplished that, and I'm very proud of what I did. Not like, man, always looking at it like if I had more time and money and resources, if I, because eventually my end goal, dude, I want like the 20 backup dancers and explosions, man. I want fire in my shit, but it takes a while to reach the level of getting fire on your shows. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
eventually
we can. That's a whole different podcast. I get it. That's a whole different. I get it. That's a different podcast. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's
But the tongue is the extension of the mind.
100%. Like I said, we can go into that stuff.
Speaks what the heart can.
It's the tongue is a double-edged sword, and Wu-Tang is a sword style.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
By the way, Wu-Tang is very responsible for a lot of this, by the way.
Yeah,
they're deep as fuck.
You mentioned them quite a few times, and like.
But if you hear RZA break it down,
where you from? You're from North Carolina. You said, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Charleston, obviously, and I grew up. I love New York shit. Nas, Jigga, Wu. Fucking Dipset. I was heavy on Dipset. Fucking Lloyd Banks is one of my favorite rappers, bro. Like, I fucking love Lloyd Banks. Like, Big L, Tupac, obviously. Like, he's on the wall. J. Cole. Like, I love that fucking thoughtful fucking just and Wu was like some of the. If you asked any of the people I just named, they would say Wu is some of their influence. Andre, fucking Outkast, like Wu-Tang is the shit, bro.
They really are, bro.
I just listened to Drink Champs with Method Man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you get off my cloud. I was like, oh, that's fucking. I didn't realize that shit because I'm young, but he was crazy. Like, yo, I'm talking about fucking the Rolling Stones on that shit. Bootsy Collins, like. And then he goes on to be like, talking about the Beatles, where he's like,
I got fat bags of
40.
Yeah.
He's talking about the Beatles and shit. So
God.
yeah, I feel you on that, man.
I love that
how
shit.
can the people fucking reach you, bro? If they want to book you, cause I know that you got some shows coming up. They won't see this until it's after, so I'm gonna post them shit so they can see them. But how can they find you if they want to find? You want them to find your music, your fucking clothing line, livelihood.
So you know what's the most important thing about finding me, and I learned this way back in the day. So I used to go by Mike Live, and I just spelled it face value. But as you know, there's a trillion mics. And there's even a trillion more live videos or live performances or live whatever. But if you turn that I into an exclamation mark in live, you'll find your boy. So I'm on all platforms if you decide to look up Mike Live. And the best way to get in contact with me is probably my Instagram, which is Mike Livelihood. Now on Instagram, you can't use the exclamation mark, but if you just type in
Livelihood.
It's Mike Livelihood with just spelled straight up. Yeah. But generally on platforms though, if you're trying to find me, you're going to look up Mike Live or Mike Live with the I being an exclamation mark in live.
Word.
Yes, sir.
Well, if y'all can't find him, hit me up and I'll get you in touch with him, man. I'm so appreciative of this dude coming on, man. Whenever I meet another Mike, it just feels right. Like it's weird. Like I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it. When your name's Michael and like, which means the right hand of God, which means who is like God, which means like you're expected to be great, which means like you're gonna be in the same vein of Michael Tyson, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Fucking, there's like Michael is one of the greatest names in the history of fucking the world. So like, it's hard. You got a lot of shit to live up to. Like, whether it's your, like, most people just gotta be like, oh, my name's fucking Jacob, and my dad's name was Jacob, and there's a Jacob in the Bible. Like, no, like, Michael is one of the hardest names to fucking live up to, bro. Like, it's like, so whenever I meet another Michael and they ain't no slouch, they fucking trying to live up to that name, to be that person that's got empathy, that's got fucking drive, that's got fucking determination, that's got fucking bars, motherfucker. Like I love that shit. So yo, I don't know. I'm proud of my name. I'm 100%. Sure you are. Like,
I feel Mike.
Yeah.
Yo, to piggyback off the Mike shit, two things real quick before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Listen, I've never been a graffiti artist, so it's easy for me to tell you what my graffiti name is because I've got no trouble. That's how much. But if I had a name, I decided to go by Wilg, WILG, which is the acronym for Who Is Like God.
Who is like God.
But you know what else is dope? If you listen to on the green tape, anytime I pitch my voice down, that is my alter ego character, and I named him Who's Like God. So like Gathering Dust, that's actually Who's Like God with Mike Live at producing the beat.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's
which
so
Who's Like God is the name of the exactly the meaning of the name. So it's like the perfect alter ego thing, especially if you're dealing with Woo is always like peace God, yours God, peace to the gods. We had a heavy job, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, we've talked about a lot of '90s movies on here, but we never talked about Michael, which was a dope ass fucking movie with Jonathan Bolton.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? But it's dope to have somebody on here that like looks at the name the way I look at the name, because that's how I look at the fucking name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at it like I've always felt that pressure of like, who is like God, God's right hand man. Like, I'm supposed to be here to fucking do God's work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I fall short all the fucking time.
You see the boy, right?
Hey, there he is. There he fucking is, dog. On the back of the shirt too. Like, I feel you. If no one else has ever felt you, I feel you. Like, you know what I mean? Straight up, because that's always been like that. But shout out Mike Live, man. Livelihood Clothing. He's in the fucking Tanger right here in North Charleston. He's in the Tanger in Deer Park, New York. So if you up in New York, get that. And he's about to be in every Tanger across the fucking nation and the world. So, you know, we manifest around this bitch. Who is like God, we is like God. So think harder, work smarter. If you want it to grow, just add water. Mic live, mic dub. 2 mics don't make a right, but 2 rights make a fucking airplane.
Let's
2 fly.
go.
Let's go. Peace.
Livelihood.
A little dust on the bottom. In my head, you can live for tomorrow. 'Cause you'll be there. A little dust on the bottom. Another melody in my head. A little dust on the bottom. Another melody in my head. I'm feeling unfazed, like a dog being unchained. A creature being uncaged, bloody Sundays, but the memory lasts longer than the blood stains. I'm feeling unwell, shit is unreal. Can't forget the way a gun feels. Love kills, take another, I don't give a fuck pill. If that don't kill me, then I guess the love will. I'm feeling too many feelings, too many villains.